Dutch Myrmidons topple Lunatic Jesters right there in our last matchup as we're going to head into last-minute monsters. Something fun I wanted to note, if you weren't just sitting there staring at the bracket for the last couple of minutes like me and Aggro were.
We were.
Last-minute monsters played against last-minute leftovers.
Well, clearly the monsters topped the leftovers.
Someone had to eat them.
Must have been like some... What's a bad leftover?
Oh, no.
Like Chinese leftovers are pretty good.
Chinese leftovers rule. How about
Pizza
leftover meatloaf? That can go either way.
Yeah, you don't want to go with that. Yeah, there were some leftover meatloaf today.
Either way, last-minute monsters, as hot as the leftovers were cold out of the fridge, they're going to be up against Dutch Myrmidons, and we'll see what kind of appetite either of these teams have.
I'm really looking forward to the mid lane matchup here, and that's going to be Mr. Stefan versus DeathPanter. I mean, we talked so much about the big SB and then Mike TheMagikarp and even Baas in that last game, Hoek as well. But it was the raw player, DeathPanter, that kind of slid under the radar, and that's because of the majority of the setup that he was getting for his team. That's a CC-heavy composition that he's able to really do his job fairly easily with. But Mr. Stefan is the standout player for me for last-minute monsters, and he's going to be the one, along with HalfDevil, that's really going to set the tone for them. And I'm interested to see, are they going to give him Vulcan? He's known for his Vulcan play. And then can he really make the plays to push last-minute monsters up into the finals?
Yeah, I really want to see Mr. Stefan step up and become Mr. Stefan in this series. It's very important for that mid lane to really bring it. Rebound versus, when you look at the individual matchup, Rebound is going to be the solo laner for this team. I think he's going to have a tall order to topple Steefy Beefy, and then even Hestrix going up against Mike TheMagikarp. I think these guys are probably similarly skilled, but because jungle is such a position that is dependent on your other team and and vice versa, I think Mike TheMagikarp has a leg up in that position as well. When you gank a lane as a jungler, it's never one-on-one. It's you and your teammate versus the target, and I just think that the supporting cast around Mike TheMagikarp a little bit stronger than what Hestrix has.
That's true, but we did see last-minute monsters in the finals last week, so you know they're going to be able to use that experience that they gained up against Variety's new team, even if that series wasn't particularly close. Going to try and make sure that they're getting there again and securing that spot into the relegations next week.
Very true. We'll see if that experience posed well for the picks and bans as we get right into it. Relegations here. It's week number 2 of our European Open bracket. Just to give you guys the bigger picture, this will be a best of 3 as we are in the semifinals. The finals will be as well. And then the winners of this will tally up their points per last week. And then coming up later, we'll see, not later in the day, but later on in the weeks and the months, we'll see the round robin against some of the lower-end SPL teams. So that's what we're all watching for. These teams that you see right here, in fact, Dutch Myrmidons and Last-Minute Monsters might be the teams that play in your SPL this spring split. So you definitely want to keep an eye on who's playing and who's not playing. Zeus, Jingwei, and Rat not playing today.
Very surprised we don't see a Nike ban yet. I don't think we saw a Nike ban in the last game either, and it wasn't selected. That really surprised me. Haven't seen one yet. There it is. Dutch Myrmidons making the play. Yeah,
Nike usually on the second team because she is first pick potential here these days. Last-minute monsters, or just the minute monsters, depending on how you want to say it. First pick going their direction. How do you feel?
Sylvanas. Thanatos. Okay, Thanatos.
My man.
How excited are you that Thanatos is first pick?
That's my Manitos.
Just can't. I just can't do it. Yeah,
Thanatos is going to be a fantastic pick against some of the tankier characters on Dutch Myrmidons. We'll see. Erlang Shen is actually a fantastic choice against Thanatos because of the heal.
But again, it's giving TheBigSB Erlang Shen. And this is the god that he's looked so good on. The Jingwei ban against Baas, sure, we've seen him play that this week and last week, but just giving TheBigSB, again, the best player on Dutch Myrmidons, his best character is an easy recipe to go down 0-1.
And it's not even just the Erlang Shen, it's the Erlang Shen next to the Ra. We were talking about how mid laner DeathPanter sort of went underneath the table because of how easy it was to hit those abilities. Well, Erlang Shen, certainly the guy that's going to make that easy. So you've got the eager combo, as I think a lot of people have taken to calling it. Chronos will be the likely hunter across the way, although mid lane's certainly a thing. And then Khepri, I think we'll see Khepri support.
Yeah, I like this Khepri pick because it gives Chronos a third life. We saw just how potent that was for energy at the World Finals. This was a duo lane that they ran really consistently, was Chronos Khepri. It's so difficult to punch through the rewind and the Scarab's Blessing, as well as the fact that Thanatos is a character that can go really deep into a team fight and really make use of that revive.
Exactly what I was going to say. If you go back to Lich versus ALG, one of the more iconic matches that if you missed SWC at HRX, certainly want to go watch and check that out on our archive videos. But Khepri allowing Thanatos, what a lot of times is you see Thanatos start the team fight, and now it's a 5-on-4, but the team collapses and makes it a 4-on-4. Khepri stops that. Sobek, will be certainly looking for the backline here in Dutch Myrmidons. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
This is 3 out of the 5 characters that we saw Dutch Myrmidons play last match in their quarterfinals.
And I like it. You're already on a roll, like we mentioned. There's sometimes a downtime between these games, so it's difficult to keep your momentum going.
Sure.
But when you're picking the exact same composition, it's very easy to do so.
You asked for it.
Yeah, love these bands. We saw Mr. Stefan play Thoth last week, and then it's Vulcan. Those are the 2 gods he's really known for. Taking both of those away, heads up bands there by Dutch Myrmidons, clearly doing their homework.
Meanwhile, homework on the other side as well. I love the attention. The Jingwei band, I would have liked to see. If that Jingwei band was an Erlang Shen band, I think this would have been a perfect band phase.
Sure.
I love the attention onto Mike TheMagikarp. Mike TheMagikarp is a great, he's a good to great player depending on the day, but his god pool tends to be a little bit smaller. So here you take away his Awelish, his Naja, and his Ratatasker, and he went 808 on the Thor, but you saw the holes in his gameplay. And that's what last minute monsters are looking for. They're like, hey, we understand you're above average player, but as long as we can stretch that god pool to the ends of the earth, that's what they're looking for.
Yeah, exactly. They saw the Thor ults, and they're kind of daring him to do it again, because after, you know, like you mentioned, you're 8-0-8, but you're like, man, I missed a lot that last game. Maybe I want to change it up, play something different. Now, I don't know if he's going to have the choice. Thor, one of the best junglers available still.
Kukulkan, the selection for the mid lane right here. You were talking about Mr. Stefan or Mr. Stefan, depending on how his game goes. Kukulkan, and there's a Thor selection. What are you expecting out of this dragon?
Long range setup, basically. You've got the Thanatos. It might not be used for the execute in the early game. Really use the Spirit of the 9 Winds as the execute, because it can be used, so it does so much damage even early on. And then that Eagles Rally, the long range route, the long range CC capabilities aren't great for minute monsters, but they're going to be able to find some. That Solar Flare is, I think, going to be the big one. Laying down that Tornado on top of that long range Khepri route from HalfDevil. And like I mentioned, these are the 2 I'm really looking at. HalfDevil, Mr. Stefan. How well are they going to be able to work together to synergize?
Yeah, it's going to be a big point, especially in the early game. Hestrix as well. Charge Prey one more time. We saw this last game. Dutch Myrmidons starting things off with a bang. Hoek very low, however. Hestrix going to run out as well. The big SB runs away, and much ado about nothing.
I don't know about nothing. Both shells used on each side, but it's the purification there used by Hestrix. But you got to give shout out to his itemization choices, going for the reinforced greaves right away. That absolutely saves his life there. If he's got Bumbas, if he's got Death's Toll, if he's got any sort of starter item, he's going to die in that situation almost certainly. Or you also have to give shout out to the Rising Dawn from HalfDevil, giving that damage mitigation as well. Just so much damage mitigation in that initial engagement. You've got the boots, you've got the shell, and then you've got the Rising Dawn, all working to keep Hestrix alive.
So I don't dislike the boots choice here coming out from Hestrix. Dutch Myrmidons gonna go ahead and invade one more time. If you've got the Sobek and the Thor, really, why not? Well, that's why not, because the enemy has the Wrath. Speed buff will be confirmed by last minute monsters. However, the blue buff will likely go the way of Dutch Myrmidons.
Using that stun on Wrath very effectively there, making sure that he stuns out the big SB, securing that for Hestrix. And the buff is nice and all, but it's really about the farm that guarantees for your jungler and your solo laner.
So here's my thing about the Thanatos choice, about the Thanatos itemization choice. I actually like the tank boots, believe it or not. Thanatos' ability to scale at 60%, but you're guaranteed 10% of the enemy's HP off of that Death Scythe. So it's not really like you're losing much by going Warrior Tabby or a different direction. However, the lack of Bumba's mask does concern me a little bit. Do you expect to see him pick it up a little bit later, or is he just committed to this gameplay style?
I think he will pick it up right after he backs. He's going to wait for that 800 gold, pick it up. And it's not only for the heal, because you really don't need it that much on Thanatos, but it's the sharing capabilities, yeah.
Right here, last minute monsters want to share their enemy's jungle. Great pluck! That's first blood, and it's on a Thanatos. Hestrix takes down the big SB. And last minute monsters, they play aggressively, and it pays off. Blue buff also going their direction just a minute into the game, and while Dutch Myrmidons were the ones experiencing this good early lead last game, this time around it belongs to LMM.
And again, I'd like to see Baas play passively on this left-hand side, because if he dies early in this lane to Cosmic or a gank from Hestrix, that's going to really get Chronos closer to his late game, and that's where he really starts to outshine Soul.
Well, I actually agree with you on the Chronos point, but Soul almost has to play aggressively. She's got that wave clear built into her kit. That's kind of why you pick her, to push up in the lane.
But it's also for that mid to late game capability of a great tower push and excellent AoE team fight, which is something that I think Dutch Myrmidons would have been lacking without a character like Soul. A lot of single target damage right now for Dutch Myrmidons.
Sure.
Out of the big SB, DeathPanter, likely a single target, though, if you can kind of get lucky with some Celestial Beams every once in a while. But overall, I think that they're really drafting this Soul for the team fighting phase, whereas Cosmic's trying to come in the late game and just win the game by himself.
Yeah, that's a big point right there. Beautiful grab coming out from Khepri one more time. Hoek takes a big chunk. He's able to heal it up just a little bit.
And there you go. It's the setup from HalfDevil pulling Hoek into the tornado, forcing out the shell yet again. The Death Scythe doing a ton of damage. Love the play out of HalfDevil so far. Like it was Hoek setting everything up for Dutch Myrmidons last game. It's on this side. It's HalfDevil setting it all up for last minute monsters.
And if you didn't trust me, you saw the chunk that the Thanatos got thanks to the Death Scythe. Tank boots are not certainly still going to swing for a zillion. And yeah, he did go the Bumbus Mask. That was really the important point. I wanted to make sure that he picked that up because you just share too much in this meta game, if you will. In this current iteration of Smite in Season 3, you just share too much to not get Bumbus Mask.
Bumbas creates gold out of thin air whenever
exactly.
you share. It really does, and so it's just way too inefficient to not pick it up. And like you mentioned, you're not really missing too much damage by going for it because the scaling on Thanatos' abilities are good, but
60
not
is good, but
out of not out of control. I'd really like to see Hestrix pick up the Shield of Regrowth that we've seen consistently from Thanatos players' second item, just giving him a little bit of power, a little bit of protection, but that movement speed that allows him to get around the map very easily, as well as some cooldown reduction.
You're like Tom Cruise in Days of Thunder. There's just no stopping you. You're just so fast.
Really? That's like, there was so many other references you could have gone for there, and that was not the one I was expecting.
1 for 1. Mid Harpy stolen thanks to the ultimate out of DeathPanter. Dutch Myrmidons able to take one away with the ult. The other goes to last minute monsters, so nice little trade. Ooh, Mike TheMagikarp thought he was going to go to the sky. This would be a great opportunity for him, but he wants to finish off this mid Harpy camp. Finally gets it down.
Yeah, very lucky there for Mr. Stefan, and he's getting away with a very greedy build path right now, going immediately for the Soul Reliquary on the left-hand side. Cosmic forced to ult, but now he's got all his cooldowns back up. Baas gonna have to use a Sanctuary. But Cosmic gonna get very low, but survive for now, and that's the big thing, is that he's surviving in this lane.
Right side map, still looking for the team fight about the Gremlins, it looks like. Nice ultimate out of Stevie Beefy, but HalfDevil ults himself. Mike TheMagikarp in the sky, takes down HalfDevil with the damage from the ult. Hestrix looking for a target, lands on Stevie Beefy. Probably the worst target to choose from. Mike TheMagikarp's gonna find it, and there's the ultimate out of the mid laner. Whiff! Nothing getting for it, but Mr. Stefan makes up for his misdeeds, taking out Hoek. Hestrix waiting for the cooldown. Where's Death Scythe? Can't find it. Needs to kill.
Oh, he got him!
And there's the Thanatos passive. Back up to half HP. He's not a threat any longer. 4-1. Last minute monsters leading by 1,000.
Wow, that was a really impressive play out of Hestrix there. He almost got in a lot of trouble because he wasn't able to secure the last hit on the character that was low health. If he was able to use that silence, pick up that kill, you saw how much of a burst heal you get as Thanatos whenever you're able to pick up a kill. But there, juking around half HP, gotta give shout outs to his team, keeping Big Stevie Beefy at bay. Cosmic would have to take a trip back to the base, but Hestrix just juking out for so long, and then the Death Scythe on the moving target. Erlang Shen's pretty quick in that little turtle guy. I mean, he's waddling around as fast as he possibly can, but it doesn't matter. Hestrix finds him with the Death Scythe. Really, really great play out of the jungler so far from Last Minute Monsters. 2-0-2. He's been a part of every single kill so far.
So we've seen Hestrix, not just in this tournament last week, but also, I mean, he's a Challenger Cup player that if you pay attention to the Challenger Cup, you're familiar with him. I know that he's logged the hours on the Thanatos. That's a play, and if you didn't know, that's a play that makes you understand that he's logged the hours on Thanatos. It's very, Thanatos, the way he heals up with his abilities, especially the passive, it's very difficult to really get that ingrained in your mind. Also, shouts to the, I don't know if it's a recent change, but once upon a time, he wouldn't have been able to cast that Death Scythe. They've recently changed the way that works.
I was just thinking about that. It used to be a % of your max HP to use every single one of your abilities. That's why Thanatos, one of the least mana-hungry characters in the game. He's not only using mana, he's using part of his health pool as well, but now it's % of your current HP. So you're able, even when you're very low health, to use those abilities and make big plays just like that.
So when you have 2 HP, you go to 1. Because I'm pretty sure he was at 2 or 1.
Wow, BigSB uses the Blessing ultimate in panic, basically, just hearing Hestrix pop Scent of Death, trying to make sure he wasn't going to get chunked down by a Death Scythe right away. So this means that Rebound is going to have a lot of CC potential on this right-hand side. You can see Hestrix probably going to stick around there a little bit longer.
I don't even mind that play, in all honesty. Because he's just looking for the heal. The taunt is almost like icing on the cake half the time when it comes down to that ultimate out of the Erlang Shen. So he gets the heal. He knows that he's not going to be a target for the ultimate after the Death Scythe combination right there. I think that's exactly the play that Stevie Beefy needed to make.
He was just a little bit too far away, I think, Hestrix, to find that Death Scythe, but you're right. I mean, it's all about that heal. We see Erlang Shen's consistently use that in lane, basically every time it comes off cooldown, to just get that burst heal, because Erlang Shen, unlike a lot of other solo laners, doesn't have that sustain option built into his kit. He really relies on the double Death Toll procs with his passive in the dog, as well as that ultimate to stay healthy in lane.
Interestingly enough, Aggro, this is almost a slower pace, I think, than the last game. We repeatedly saw Hoek kind of just force these engagements last time around because they wanted to play this up-tempo sort of game.
Without a doubt. He's going up tempo right now, looking for Cosmic. He's going to fall. Great gank there from Mike the Magikarp, able to find the ultimate that time around. And that's exactly what I was talking about. Cosmic needs to play passively in this lane and just kind of wait it out, because Baas, if he's able to get a lead, that's when the Chronos Soul matchup starts to tilt a little bit in Soul's favor. It's not until Chronos finishes multiple items that he's able to really take those trades effectively.
Dutch Myrmidons looking like they're positioning for the Gold Fury. Hestrix used the Purification way after the fact. Half HP thanks to DeathPanter. Looking for the heal. You see this all the time with Thanatos players. Heal so much off of these jungle camps. The passive combined with the Death Scythe and, of course, the Bumbas. He's full HP.
And you see the movement speed coming into big play there as well. It is the Shield of Regrowth picked up right after those Boots and Bumbas combination for the Thanatos player. Just getting that extra movement speed, the CDR. But yeah, Hestrix, that's the second time we've seen that, I believe. He got plucked early on in the before the minion spawn. Used Purification midair. He's got to be a little bit quicker with that relic usage. It's one of the things that really separates the decent players from the really, really good ones, is quick timing on relics.
Sometimes you can sort of blame it on, well, I was worried about the follow-up CC. But if you look across the way, the only follow-up CC really is going to be Mike the Magikarp, and he's going to block you out anyway, even if you don't get stunned. So definitely something to take a look at there as far as Hestrix is concerned in his performance.
Now he's going for the Mark of the Vanguard right after that Shield of Regrowth, kind of taking a page out of Stevie Beefy's book last game, just trying to get a little bit of extra tankiness, really relying on that percent damage from Death Scythe, as well as that hovering Death Execute. I think I would have preferred to see him go into a little bit more damage at this stage in the game. He's got a decent lead right now. He's up a little bit on the rest of the game. Him and Mike the Magikarp are right there, 2 and 3 in net worth, but he's got enough gold that he could have really invested in some damage options right now. Mark of the Vanguard just going to delay his build a little bit longer than necessary, I think.
Yeah, I'm not as big a fan of the Mark of the Vanguard as I was last game. There was a lot of periodic damage ticks. That's a dead character.
Wow. There he went. Mr. Stefan flattens Hoek with Spirit of the Nine Winds. Shell never even got a chance to be used there. And again, it's HalfDevil just finding these setups. You don't think of Khepri as that setup sort of guardian. He's the protective one. He's the true guardian. But right now, it's HalfDevil being the initiator from a distance with these roots.
Feels Hoek, man. Gold Fury goes down very quickly. Last Minute Monsters takes that. And they'll catapult up just shy of 2,000 gold in the lead. 5-3 with the kills. As we just passed the alarm clock for the Fire Giant, 10.5 on the clock, 1,800 specifically in the lead. And you know, going back to what you were saying about HalfDevil, I mean, this is his gameplay style. He's always going to be looking for those initiations. And with how long that Abduct is, it's just a perfect setup for Mr. Stefan.
Exactly. We talked about the setup CC for Mr. Stefan on this Kukulkan. Hoek here is checking to see if he's got enough setup behind him to use that pluck, but just going to be able to get a little bit of poke on the Rebound before they back up. Speed buff, it looks like it was stolen away, actually. Did Rebound snag that with the Scourge? No, Mike the Magikarp looks like he might be going to pick it up now. No, it was stolen away, so buffs traded out. The big SB didn't rotate for that Gold Fury fight, but was able to pick up the blue buff on the right-hand side, so Rebound steals away that speed.
You were talking about this dual lane before aggro, and right now, well, you're looking like Miss Cleo. 14, excuse me, versus the level 11 Chronos right here, and Soul just has complete control of this lane, which is why you see Mr. Stefan forced to come over Gonna drop everything. The ultimate will miss, but the slow and the tornado work. But Baas just doesn't care. He's not paying attention. He gets the kill until his jungler comes along and Mr. Stefan gets the kill.
Really great rotation, but it's Baas making the plays there in that duo lane, able to turn around onto Cosmic. Mr. Stefan, he's gonna get deleted. DeathPanter all the way from the jungle, able to pick him up with that snipe.
The tail end of that ability picks it up. HalfDevil likely to be in trouble as well. The turnaround was his demise. The big Stevie Beefy puts himself on the board for the first time this game. 1 kill, 2 deaths, 2 assists for the young solo laner, but he trades out his tower for that rotation.
The teleport is down. He used it to get to that fight on the left-hand side. Rebound, able to pick up the tower in response. Like you mentioned, red buff going to get invaded by Dutch Myrmidons, but again, it's Cosmic is really the way into this game for Dutch Myrmidons. He has been consistently. He's half of the team's kills, 3 deaths. That's half of Dutch Myrmidons' 6 kills, like I mentioned, and just really needs to play a little bit safer in this lane. And going for this Book of Thoth right after Boots, it's just such a slow power curve to really extend Chronos' already fairly slow power curve.
So I don't mind the slow power curve being in the dual lane if you're going to hide there and play safe like you were suggesting, but he's taking the fights against the soul, and this is where a lot of times you've heard me argue that itemization is maybe not the headline of these games, but this is one of those situations where you absolutely have to dissect the builds. If you're playing the Chronos, you got to see the Pythagorean's piece into the boots and say, this is an earlier start that I have stacking my book. I absolutely have to pump the brakes, and we just didn't see that play at a Cosmic. It's 15-13 as far as the levels are concerned.
Yeah, and really Cosmic could have just taken what Baas was doing and copied it, because I love the Pythags pickup with this much magical damage. DeathPanter so low under the middle tower. He may fall here.
The heal is good, but he stands and just sidesteps the ultimate. Ultimately, it's going to be Hestrix that takes down DeathPanter. Mr. Stefan gets saved by HalfDevil. There's going to be a wall coming out of the jungle, but it's just not enough. And a beautiful grab by HalfDevil to take away his opponent.
And now Cosmic's made the rotation. He's picking up Mike TheMagikarp. Nowhere to go for him. Hestrix, Mr. Stefan, deep in the enemy jungle, trying to stay alive. BigSB forced to try and get the heal off. The Wrath Stun's gonna guarantee he does. Mr. Stefan so low, but plucked again. Hoek not gonna be able to find him either. HalfDevil is just making plays.
This entire team fight brought to you by HalfDevil. He saves 3 separate teammates directly with Abduct, and then he saves even more indirectly. I guess it's still directly with the help of Rising Dawn. Big plays coming out of the Khepri player right here. Last minute monsters lose at least 2 to 3 players in that team fight if HalfDevil is not as strong as he proved to be right there. Hats off to the support, but more importantly, we just spent the last, I guess, minute and a half really sort of lamenting Cosmic's play here.
Yep.
Those 2 kills, similar to last game where a single play got both of our junglers back in the game, that single play brings Cosmic right back into the arena.
So important. Now he's only 100 gold down from Baas, who's really been dominant over here. On the right-hand side, BigSB trying to invade this blue yet again, but it's going to be Rebound, able to use the Wrath there. And you got to give shout-outs to BigSB's the only one who survived that team fight on Dutch Myrmidons. It was the frame-perfect Wrath to keep him from getting auto-attacked by Rebound at 1 HP to allow his heal to go off. Really hard to play from him. Oh, a little bit off the mark there by Mr. Stefan. It may not matter. Yeah, Eagles Rally going to secure this kill onto the BigSB. Without Gold Fury up, no real response available for Dutch Myrmidons.
Yeah, it's one of those, if you miss an ult in the forest, does anybody know? Absolutely.
Yeah,
not.
he knows. He made the call out to his team. Yeah, that's Kukulkan ult. That's Bellona ult. Why didn't anyone rotate? That's usually what you hear.
You see a little bit more damage on Hestrix. He's got the Titan's Bane.
Yeah, going for that percent pen, it really pairs well with the Scent of Death flat pen that you're going to have. HalfDevil, he's in a bad spot now, cut off very nicely there by Mike TheMagikarp. Hoek under the waters. HalfDevil does have ultimate, but he's going to save it very, very nicely there.
Still looking for more. Mike TheMagikarp takes out the support, gets the double oon. It's 2 for the young jungler out of the UK. Mike TheMagikarp playing well here in our semifinals. Level 14 on him, across the way, level 15 on the Thanatos, but the impact has been the same. Cosmic doesn't know what playing back means. He's gonna push up on the tier 1 to tier 2 tower.
Where was Mr. Stefan in that engagement as well? Really odd kind of positioning there from last minute monsters. Now Rebound playing very aggressively when he's getting no rotations at all. No one's coming to help him anytime soon.
Slowed, stunned, thrown. Here he's gonna jump forward and meet up with his teammates. That was a slippery mid laner right there. Dutch Myrmidons starting the Gold Fury.
Gonna get it pretty low here. Wrath is available only for the big SB, but Mr. Stefan has the ultimate. He's ready to fire it, but it's going to go the way of Dutch Myrmidons. Wrath there. Big SB securing it for his squad.
Actually, let's take a look at the... Yes, okay, Dutch Myrmidons do secure it. I wasn't too sure because I saw a rebound in the middle of everything, and you never quite know.
Especially with that tornado already ticking there. Speaking of ticking, time's ticking right now for Big SB. Is Cosmic doing a decent amount of damage, but not able to find the big stun there, and that's going to be the difference maker.
Dutch Myrmidons trying to play back a little bit. Last minute monsters, excuse me, gonna get this tier 2 tower likely for free. You never really want to fight on the tier 2 towers. You generally see teams fight on the Phoenixes. Is it about the choke point, or is it something else?
That's exactly what it is. You have a very quick window into the jungle that can really give you a decent escape route and really choke up the other team that's chasing you, because Mr. Stefan can kind of bait you in and then just turn around and fire that Spirit of the Nine Winds and basically flatten your entire team, and that's exactly why. Plus, that tower was so low already because of the split push coming out of Cosmic that there's really no way the Dutch Myrmidons are going to be able to defend that either way.
Hoek's the target, brought down to half before he dashes away. 5 players in blue, marching up the middle lane. Nobody's going to get hit by Spirit of the Nine Winds, but everybody's going to get hit by TheMagikarp. 3-man stun. It's looking perfect. There's a great stun setting up DeathPanter. The mid laner finds his 2nd kill of the game. Dutch Myrmidons still on the chase. Everybody looking towards the mid lane. There's a little bit of slow coming out from Soul, but that seems to be it. Dutch Myrmidons get 1 kill, chase the opponent off of their front yard, and now we're looking for the next objective, which could be a Firebird.
Yeah, the Phoenix here, and again, the sustain coming out of DeathPanter, no sustain available for last-minute monsters. They're going to have to use their fountain, but they're up in time. They're going to be able to defend this, it seems like. And there it just comes down to a great initiation, again, by HalfDevil, and then the ultimates are just off the mark. Whereas on the other side, Dutch Myrmidons, TheMagikarp's able to find a great one underneath the tower. DeathPanter, all alone right now, cannot be here. He took the wrong pathing. He's going to pay for it. Rebound, able to pick up his 3rd kill of the game. I don't even mind the split up, Ryan. Like we saw Rago separate from the rest of his team. I don't even mind that. He turned around to ult to try and steal the camp. That jungle camp, not worth it. No, not at all. Not and then Wrath used there by the big SB to try and keep his own blue buff up, but it's actually still secured by rebound, and then there's a huge difference in that Wrath cooldown. So if we see an advantage gained by last-minute monsters, the big SB's not going to have that relic available to try and steal away the Fire Giant. Right now, pretty close game, although last-minute monsters certainly in the lead. 4,000 gold for the blue squad, and they're going to start the Fire Giant. It's Mr. Stefan. They're relying on him to secure this with Spirit of the Nine Winds. It's got to be his job to make sure this goes the way of last-minute monsters. It's getting low. Big SB, again, doesn't have the Wrath. There's Spirit of the Nine Winds. It secures it. It's going the way of last-minute monsters. Here's the fight back from Dutch Myrmidons. Nice up down to the Hestrix to execute the big, Steefy, beefy. He's going to fall down for the 4th time this contest. Much different game for him than we saw last time in our quarterfinals. In 1, 4, and 3, and that's just because of the early rotations on that right-hand side. Last-minute monsters getting the better end of the engagements for the most part, and it's just been Rebound who's looked very, very strong, really pushing the big SB under tower consistently. This is a pretty solid matchup for Bellona, able to disarm, which is basically Erlang Shen's main source of damage is auto attack. So you really like that matchup in lane for Rebound, but still his team fighting presence has been better than the big SBs. It's really been across the board that he's looked like the better player right now. And that's the key for me right here. I think if you poll 50 players, 50 people that are in the know about the challenger scene and above, and you say Rebound, big SB, Hestrix, TheMagikarp, I think the latter two, the big SB and TheMagikarp, are your stronger players. Almost 49 out of 50 players are going to say that. But when it comes down to, Smite's a 5-on-5 game, not a 1v1 game. And Rebound and Hestrix have just blended with their squad and the team fights much better than their opponents on the other way. And for me, it's been HalfDevil. We've called his name time and time again. He's 0, 4, and 8, but has made so many plays, setting up for his team, really setting up Mr. Stefan nicely and protecting his team very well. And Cosmic, having that rough early game, no doubt about that, but his mid to late game has been, we're only 21 minutes. We're not even close to late game. What am I talking about? We're in the mid game right now, but Cosmic has looked very, very good on that Chronos. Got to tip my hat to the Kukulkan as well. 12 out of 13 kills have had his stamp of approval on them. Right now, the big SB is going to take a little bit of damage. HalfDevil tanking this Phoenix when he probably doesn't need to, but the Fire Giant regen will be good enough to make him not even care
another wave of minions. Right now, last minute monsters, the reason they're biding their time here, folks, is we're waiting to see the wave of minions come and destroy those backdoor protections. Cosmic doesn't have the lead that he might have anticipated, so he can't just walk up in there and take down the Phoenix.
Rebound going under there, trying to get something going. Root up there, but Mike TheMagikarp, he's in the sky. He's looking to come crashing down. He finds Rebound, but that's not the right target. He's going up, he's going down, and so is Mike TheMagikarp.
Backside, trouble for Hoek. Tail Whip's gonna knock up 3. Still finds a way out thanks to the charge prey. The Phoenix, on the other hand, falls to the wayside. HalfDevil now corralling his team on the right side. Slow but steady. The team finally gonna make it here, and the Phoenix will finally be the target one more time. HalfDevil down to 25.
Cosmic got to be the one to hit this Phoenix. He's the one who's doing the majority of the damage to the structures. Middle Phoenix down, right-hand Phoenix down, and Cosmic, now he's looking for the kills.
HalfDevil still in trouble, but Mr. Stefan gets the kill. DeathPanter able to answer back and take down the support. Mid and right Phoenix go down. DeathPanter goes down. Baas goes down. Cosmic on a tear.
Mike TheMagikarp respawning is the only reason you see last minute monsters starting to play a little bit safe for a rebound, just able to find that back in time. Cosmic gets knocked up, but the TheBigSB silenced out. Cosmic's not worried that he's a low health. He still wants to fight. Rebound has teleported back in, full health, full mana, and the Titan's gonna be taken down here. Last minute monsters coming in and defending their spot.
Off the mark. If he lands on the 3 players of the Titan, we might see a stop here. Mr. Stefan gets the kill, but ultimately it's going to be the Titan falling down 18-10 in 23 minutes of play. That's that.
It was such a close game for so long, and then all of a sudden, it's the fact that the TheBigSB uses his Wrath on that blue buff to make sure that there's really no contest for Spirit of the Nine Winds on the Fire Giant, and it's Rebound and HalfDevil doing a great job of zoning away Dutch Myrmidons from getting anywhere close to that Fire Giant, and then it just all snowballs out of control from there. The Chronos, like I mentioned, struggled in the early game, but once he got to the late game, the mid game made it count.
Also, in news, the sky is blue and grass is green. Chronos comes through in the late game, but not the early game. So we saw a fantastic performance from Last Minute Monsters, who, like I said, I think on paper are the bottom card. But it's the way that they play together and play as a unit that really enabled them to take that win.
In some positions, yes, but again, it was the mid lane and the support for me. HalfDevil and Mr. Stefan, really, Mr. Stefan near the top of the player damage charts, I think only behind Baas, who had an excellent game on that Soul. Really the only reason the Dutch Myrmidons were still in that game was Baas on that Soul in my mind. And then Mr. Stefan was right behind him in that player damage, just played so well around the CC from HalfDevil. He's the experienced player. He's the one making it happen right now for Last Minute Monsters.
Yeah, they certainly have things a little buttoned up as far as that's concerned. Dutch Myrmidons, though, I'm very curious to see how they react and how they rebound, and how they bounce back from that game number 1. Do you think we're going to see a game 3?
I think we could, because you expect TheBigSB to have a better game than he did there, even if he's moving off Erlang Shen, which he's been so successful on. Maybe, you know, okay, let's move on. It wasn't the right matchup there. Clearly, Rebound's comfortable up against that in lane, so if we can give TheBigSB a better god that he can play the lane with and really try and change that around, I definitely think Dutch Myrmidons are strong enough to force us to a game 3.
So my